With dealings in food, condiments, ice cream, cleaning agents, beauty products, and personal care, Unilever is regarded as one of the most famous and richest companies in the world, headquartered in London, England, and boasting a whopping £60 million in revenue as of 22 and £8.2 billion in net income. Unilever has seen tremendous growth from when it first formed, almost a century ago. However, while the success of Unilever is something to be praised, it doesn't come without some shady and secret dark dealings in some parts of the world. Most notably, its acquisition of the notorious Royal Niger Company that orchestrated the illegal sale of the West African country, Nigeria, and subjected most of its chefs at that time to exploitation. So brace yourself, get comfortable, and join us as we explore and unravel Unilever's dark secrets. We at Business Chronicles tell extraordinary business stories. Please subscribe to our channel to help us make more videos. The birth of Unilever can be traced to the merger of the operations of Dutch margarine Uni and British soap maker Lever Brothers in September 1929. The name Unilever resulted from the portmanteau of the name of both companies. Margarine Uni was a Dutch company that has been founded 2 years prior in 1927. From the merger of 4 margarine companies, Antoon Jurgens United, Vandenbergs, Centra and Schists, making it one of the major producers of margarine in the United Kingdom. On the other hand, the Lever Brothers was a British manufacturing company established by 2 brothers, William Hesketh Lever and James Darcy Lever. In the early 1890s, William Hesketh wrote down his perfect idea for Sunlight soap, his revolutionary new and unique product that helped to promote cleanliness and hygiene in Victorian England. The aim was to make the cleanliness commonplace, lessen work for women, foster health, and contribute to personal attractiveness, that life may be more enjoyable and rewarding for people who use our product. This was long before the phrase corporate mission had been invented. But these ideas have stayed at the hearts of its business, even if their language and the notion of only women doing housework has become outdated. Both brothers started out with a small grocery soap business their father had earlier managed. They eventually entered the soap business in 1855 by purchasing a small soap factory in Warrington. After which, the brothers teamed up with William Ho Watson, a Cumbrian chemist who later became their partner. Watson created a new process, which later resulted in developing a new soap, using glycerine and vegetable oil like palm oil rather than tallow. The new soap was a game-changer for the company, as it was a free lather, first named Honey Soap, then changed to Sunlight Soap. In 1888, the production of the soap reached around 450 tons weekly, and so larger buildings were built on marshes at Bromborough Pool on the Wirral Peninsula, at what became Port Sunlight. Although the company was named Lever Brothers, William Lever's brother James never really took part in the major aspect of running the business. By 1895, Lever Brothers entered the United States market with a small sales office in New York. Before the start of 1929, the business had grown big. The company employed 1,000 workers in Cambridge and 1,400 nationwide, making it the 3rd largest soap manufacturing company in the United States until the merger with Margarine Uni later that year. By the early 1930s, the new company Unilever had grown larger, and new ventures were being established in Latin America and Africa. It was during this time Unilever bought the United African Company, which was established from a merger between the Eastern Trade Corporation and Royal Niger Company, which oversaw the interests of British trade in current-day Nigeria during its colonial era. As the Nazis occupied most parts of Europe during the Second World War, Unilever could not reinvest its capital into Europe, so it decided to acquire new business in the United States and the United Kingdom. However, in 1933, Unilever Indonesia was established in December as Leverzeepfabrieken NV and had operations in Sekranga, West Java, Atrungkut, East Java and North Sumatra. By 1943, Unilever increased and expanded its operation by acquiring a TJ Lipton and then a majority stake in Frosted Foods, owners of Birdseye brand in the UK, and then the Bachelor's Peas, one of the largest vegetable canners in the UK, After a long period that saw Unilever become one of the most successful American companies, it started to experience a decline in 1945. As a result, the company started to operate a hands-off policy towards the subsidiaries and left American management to its own devices. In 1957, Unilever took control of Frosted Foods, which was later renamed Bird's Eye. Around the same period, it acquired the US-based ice cream business Good Humor. Then by the mid-1960s, laundry soap and eatable fats contributed about half of Unilever's corporate profits. However, Unilever was later forced to diversify its operation due to increased competition in soaps and detergents from Procter & Gamble and a stagnant market for its yellow fats, margarine butter, and other similar products. In 1971, Unilever made a successful move to acquire popular British-based Lipton Ltd from Allied Suppliers. 7 years later, it acquired National Starch for a whopping $487 million, making it the largest ever acquisition of a US company. By the end of 1970s, Unilever had gathered over 30% of the European ice cream market through several acquisitions. Then by the start of 1980, Unilever entered into another spree of acquisitions. First in 1982, the management of Unilever decided to restructure and reposition itself from being an unwieldy conglomerate to a more concentrated, fast-moving consumer goods company. And in 1984, it made another acquisition. This time, it acquired Brooke Bond, the maker of PG Tips tea, for £390 million in a deal described as a hostile takeover. 2 years later, it further solidified its position in the skincare industry and market by acquiring Chesborough Pond's, the maker of Ragu, Pond's, Aquanet, Cutex, and Vaseline. In another hostile takeover in 1989, Unilever bought Calvin Klein Cosmetics, Fabergé, and Elizabeth Arden, but the latter was sold in 2000. Towards the end of the 20th century, Unilever further solidified its presence on the African continent by establishing Unilever Ghana, which resulted from a merger between UAC Ghana Limited and Lever Brothers Ghana Limited. Unilever's plan was strategically aimed at capturing profitable markets and businesses. In 1993, it acquired Breyers from Kraft, which made the company the largest ice cream manufacturer in the United States. And by 1996, it was involved in a merger that saw Elida Gibbs and the UK operations of Lever Brother come together. It also purchased Helene Curtis, significantly expanding its presence in the United States shampoo and deodorant market. The purchase brought Unilever the Suave and Finesse hair care products brands and the Degree deodorant brand. To reduce its operational market, Unilever sold off its specialty chemicals division, which included National Starch and Chemical, Unichem, Quest, and Crossfield, to Imperial Chemical Industries for a sum of £4.9 billion. The deal, which happened in 1997, paved the way for Unilever to establish its own sustainable agriculture program in 1998. At the start of the 20th century, Unilever acquired the boutique mustard retailer Mailey, Ben & Jerry's, and Slim Fast for £1.63 billion, Best Foods for £13.4 billion. The decision to acquire Best Foods increased Unilever's food presence in the United States, and also notable brands like Mermaid, Knorr, Hellmann's, and Bovril to its portfolio. However, in order to gain European regulatory approval for the deal, Unilever had to relieve itself of Leisure, OXO, McDonald's, Royco, Blabrand, and Bachelors. So in 2001, Unilever split its company into two arms to focus on each area properly, one for the food and other for personal and home care. In the United Kingdom, the company merged its Lever Brothers and Elida Faberge businesses as Leverage Faberge. By the following year, the company engaged in a couple of sales to balance things out. It started by selling off its specialty oils and fats division, known as Lotters Crocklin, for £218.5 million to IOI Corporation, a Kuala Lumpur Malaysian-based oil palm company. As an agreement on the deal, the Lotters Crocklin name was retained. Next, it sold the brands Argo and Kingsford's, Caro, Mazola, Henry's, and Golden Griddle, as well as many other of its brands in Canada, to ACH Food Companies, an American subsidiary of Associated British Foods. As Unilever continues to grow, it started to gain attraction from several other big companies. However, in a twist of events, a much smaller company, Kraft Heinz, attempted a $143 billion takeover of Unilever. Unilever eventually declined the deal, as it was much later revealed that Kraft's offer was made partially in shares, but mostly in cash. About £70 billion, which would have been funded by debt. This heavily leveraged business model would have dragged down Unilever's credit rating, leaving the combined company laden with a huge debt pile, incurring substantial repayment costs. Once the deal was off, Unilever sought to increase its holdings further and prevent any future attempt takeover. Later that year, Unilever acquired Sir Kensington's, a New York-based condiment maker. On May 15, 2007, the company acquired the personal care and home care brand of Koala, a Latin American consumer goods company. But they didn't stop there. In June, the company acquired Hourglass, a color cosmetics brand. And by the following month, it finalized and announced that it had acquired organic herbal tea business, Puka Herbs. By September, Unilever made 2 more acquisitions, an Australian ice cream business, before acquiring Remger's interest in Unilever South Africa in exchange for the Unilever South Africa spreads business plus cash considerations. Just when it seems like the year was coming to an end, and that would mean the acquisitions were over, Unilever was just getting started with its long-founded strategy of making moves when the market presented opportunities. So in October, it acquired the Brazilian natural and organic food business Maitera. And in November, it announced an agreement to acquire the Tazo Specialty Tea, the brand from Starbucks. To cap off the remarkable year of 2017, it acquired Schmidt's Naturals, a US natural deodorant and soap company. In December the same month, Unilever sold its margarine and spreads division to investments firm KKR for £6.8 billion. Unilever is what it is today, mainly due to its several acquisitions in the 20th century. However, as with most giant companies, there is often a huge secret hiding somewhere in the dark. While Unilever did officially start in 1928, to fully understand its problematic present, we need to head to its secretive past. A past that began with the Royal Niger Company in West Africa, Nigeria. Towards the end of the 19th century, the British government found the geographical location now known as Nigeria as an interesting area for exploration of important resources, as it was rich with palm oil, a commodity that was very important and highly needed by the British for the lubrication of its machines. During the 1870s, the Niger Delta, previously known as the Slave Coast, became a central hub for the exportation of palm oil. Despite there being serious competitions between several European countries for access to the lucrative commodity and trade area, it was the British who gained the upper hand in the Berlin Conference. Prior to this, George Goldie, a British colonial administrator, established the United African Company in 1879, taking control of the entire lower Niger River. 5 years later, the company had formed around 30 trading posts along the lower Niger, giving the British a strong monopoly in the area. Goldie soon moved to engage the leaders and tribal chiefs of the area by signing a treaty with them while moving further inland. In 1881, the United African Company changed its name and became known as the National African Company, while also acquiring a royal charter to manage the Niger Delta and the land surrounding the banks of the Benue and Niger rivers. By 1886, it officially became known as the Royal Niger Company. However, George Goldie's business option wasn't exactly a fair one. Rather than signing a free and a fair treaty, Goldie often tricked the tribal chiefs into signing agreements that gave him and the company an exclusive right to export palm oil. Initially, he had previously agreed with the chiefs that free trade would not be obstructed. And after the chiefs took the company's word and signed the agreement written in English, a language they barely understood, the Royal Niger Company proceeds to determine and choose who the locals could trade and refuse them direct access to their old markets. When a known native, Chief Jaja of Apopo, tried to export palm oil on his own, the British made an example out of him by accusing him of obstructing commerce and subsequently exiling him. In 1891, he was granted permission to return home. However, he died on his way back due to poisoning from a cup of tea. As soon as the story and tragic death of Chief Jaja of Apopo got out, Other chiefs and rulers became extremely careful with their business dealings with the Royal Niger Company, and even started despising them. For this reason, a ruler named King Koku Mingi organized a rebellious movement against the company by staging an attack on January 29, 1895. The attack saw King Koku Mingi successfully capture 60 British while losing 40 of his men. He used the 60 captured British as hostages in leverage aimed at securing his own partners. The deal was, should the Royal Niger Company agree, he would release their men. However, they didn't, leading to the death of all the British men captured by King Koku. In relation, the British Royal Navy attacked Brass, burning it to the ground. The aftermath of the Brass Oil War caused several public opinions back in Britain to turn against the Royal Niger Company, causing the government to remove its charter in 1899. As a result, the company decided to sell off its holdings to the British government for the sum of £865,000, equivalent to almost £46 million in today's market. Seeing that the deal was between the British company and the British government for an area that wasn't theirs to begin with, that amount was essentially considered as the price the British had to pay to acquire the territory that would later become present-day Nigeria. The ceded territory, together with the small Niger Coast Protectorate, already under imperial control, was formed into two protectorates of northern and southern Nigeria, playing a pivotal role in the colonization of Nigeria. The company eventually changed its name to the Niger Company Limited, and in 1929 became part of the United African Company. The United African Company under the control of Unilever in the 1930s and continues to exist as a subsidiary of Unilever until 1987, when it was absorbed into the parent control of Unilever, who, despite being totally aware of its past, would have preferred it to stay hidden as a secret. In a history that now crosses 3 centuries, Unilever's success had been influenced by major events of the today: economic boom, depression, world wars, changing consumer lifestyles, and technological advances. However, aside from the secret of the Royal Niger Company, there is also others that are worth telling. In 2001, Unilever faced strong controversies when a mercury thermometer factory, which was operated in India by Unilever's subsidiary in the South Indian hill town of Kodaikanal, was shut down by the government's regulatory body after the company was caught polluting a densely populated area of town with mercury dumping. According to the company's own admission, over 2 tons of mercury were released into Kodaikanal's environment, making it a very terrible thing to do for a company that claimed to value the environment. When a study on workers' health was carried out by the Indian government 10 years later, it was discovered several workers were suffering from conditions caused by exposure to mercury. The scandal opened up a series of issues in India, such as corporate liability, corporate accountability, and corporate negligence. In April 2011, the company was involved in a price-fixing scandal. As a result, Unilever fined £104 million by European Commission for establishing a price-fixing cartel for washing powder in Europe, along with Procter & Gamble and Henke. In 2014, the company came under criticism by Greenpeace for its role in causing deforestation. Prior to that, Greenpeace had first criticized Unilever in 2008 for palm oil from supplies that were damaging Indonesian rainforests. At the time, the action was causing Indonesia to lose around 2% of its remaining rainforest each year, having the fastest deforestation rate of any country. The United Nations Environmental Programme stated that palm oil plantations are the leading cause of deforestation in Indonesia. Later that year, Unilever got into another controversy when it launched a lawsuit against its rival, Hampton Creek. In the suit, Unilever claimed that Hampton Creek was seizing market share and the losses were causing Unilever irreparable harm. Unilever used standard identity regulations in claiming that Hampton Creek's Just Mayo products are falsely advertised because they don't contain eggs. The Washington Post headline on the suit read, "Big Food's Weird War Over the Meaning of Mayonnaise." The Los Angeles Times began its story with "Big Tobacco, Big Oil, now Big Mayo?" A Wall Street Journal writer described that giant corporations generate huge quantities of free advertising and brand equity for a tiny rival by suing it. However, in December 2014, Unilever dropped the claim. a move that made many claim the entire lawsuit might have been a charade. Unilever's involvement in a long history of exposing its workers to toxic elements finally caught up in March 2016, when it reached an all-out court settlement for an undisclosed amount, with 591 ex-workers of the unit who had sued the company for knowingly exposing them to toxic elements. In 2016, Unilever, alongside Procter & Gamble, was fined by Autorité de la Concurrence in France for fixing prices on personal hygiene products. In 2019, it had recorded violence against striking workers. This occurred when its security forces hired by Unilever attacked workers who were peacefully picketing its Unilever facility in Durban, South Africa. Workers were shot at with rubber bullets and paintballs and sprayed with pepper spray. While attempting to walk to their cars parked on the premise, 4 workers were seriously injured. Most recently in 2022, Unilever was involved in a much darker secret and controversy due to its dealings in Russia's invasion of Ukraine. After the invasion, several companies reduced their businesses operating in Russia. And like them, Unilever temporarily suspended its imports and exports to Russia. However, in a secret move, it authorized its Russian wing to continue reading there. Between 21 and 22, profits in Russia doubled to 108 million, and the business paid 38 million in taxes, giving rise to criticism that the company is directly helping to fund Russia's war effort in Ukraine. In response to these allegations and further claims that the company had failed in its promise to only sell vital items and stop all advertising spending in Russia, Unilever CEO Alan Jope said, "We still believe that staying is the best option, both to prevent our companies from failing directly or indirectly into Russian hands, and to protect our people." In a letter to Before Ukraine, Unilever said it paid 33 million in taxes in 22, similar to the previous year, and in July 2023, it was reported that Unilever would allow 3,000 of its Russian employees to be conscripted into the Russian army fighting in Ukraine. In July 2023, the Ukrainian National Agency on Corruption Prevention included Unilever in its list of war sponsors for not ceasing operations in Russia but continuing to profit from the market. It was later reported that the company made a £331 million payment in taxes in Russia in 22. The spokesperson for the Ukrainian Solidarity Project said, "Unilever is contributing hundreds of millions in tax revenues to a state that is killing civilians and funding a mercenary group about to be designated a terrorist organization in the UK. It risks its staff and resources being mobilized into Putin's machines. Some of the world's biggest companies have already left Russia. It is possible after 16 months of war that the time for excuses has passed." On 25 July 2023, the new CEO of Unilever, Heinz Schumacher, appointed that month, told reporters that the company had considered leaving Russia or selling the business. The first option, according to him, was abandoned, fearing the nationalization of the company, as was the second, because they could not find a worthy buyer. As a result, the continuation of a limited presence in Russia was considered the lesser evil. He said, "None of the options are actually good, but the final option of operating a business in a constrained manner is the least bad, and that is what we are." While Unilever still remains to date one of the most successful companies in the world, still, we can all agree it has its share of secrets. From its dealings in Africa with the Royal Niger Company to its workers' mercury poisoning cover-up and involvement in Ukraine-Russian war. If you enjoyed watching this video, do leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more interesting stories and all the hidden secrets about your favorite companies, families, and people.